Washington and Arkan, maybe not the one directly after, but I think I'm going to look at doing these three, because I think they're in the same series. So I'll start on page 12, and here we go. And this is Fionn Mac Cumhaill and the Salmon of Knowledge. Long ago in Ireland, the High King formed a special army of all his best warriors. The group was known as the Fianna, and their job was to protect the king from his enemies. Their leader, the mightiest warrior of them all, was called Cumhaill. I might check that one in the pronunciation kind of the back, because I don't speak Irish. What's that? Oh, it's not in there. Well, my guess is Cumhaill. Yeah, okay. Anyway, no more interruptions. He was a great favourite of the king, and the other warriors were very jealous of him. They plotted against him, and one day they seized their chance and murdered him. His wife became afraid that her baby son, Fionn, would also be murdered, so she took him on a dangerous journey to a cave in the Blue Mountains, where two women, one a warrior, the other a druid, lived. She asked the women to take care of the boy, to keep him safe and teach him everything they knew, so that he would be able to pass the difficult initiation tests of the Fianna when he came of age. The two women were called... Let's look up the names in the back. So Bobdle and Vehicle, which is actually what I would have guessed. So maybe I'll try and stop interrupting. Oh, nothing in the name. Which is not that. So I'm gonna guess it's phonetic. The two women who were called Bobdle and Vehicle agreed to look after Fionn. We will call him Dimly, they said. We will hide him away in such a safe place that even you will not be able to find him. This was a great sacrifice for Fionn's mother, who loved her son dearly, but she knew that she would have to leave him and entrust him to the women to guarantee his safety from his father's enemies. She made her sad farewells and returned to her home. As they grew up, Dimly learned all the things he would need to admit him to the ranks of the Fianna. The women taught him how to defend himself against the spears of 9 warriors using only his shield. He learned how to live in the wild with only his spear. To help him find enough food to eat, the women also showed him how to make magic spells to defeat his enemies. These were all things that fish very carefully, but when the skin began to form a blister, he reached out to break it. The hot fat burned his thumb and he put it into his mouth to stop the pain. He had just finished cooking the fish when Finnegas returned. When the old man looked into Dimne's eyes, he knew that the precious gift of knowledge, for which he had waited all his life, had passed to Dimne. When he realised that there was something different, then he realised that there was something different about the young man, something that he had not noticed before. "What is your real name?" he asked. "My mother called me Fionn, son of Cumhaill," he replied. "But why do you ask?" "I can teach you nothing more, Fionn Mac Cumhaill," said the old man. "You must go to the king and take your father's place as commander of the Fianna, which is your destiny." Fionn thanked Finnegas for all he had done for him and set out for the High King's palace at Tara. From that day forward, if he needed to know something, he had only to put his thumb in his mouth for a moment, and all was revealed. The next story is Fionn Mac Cumhaill and the Dragon. When Fionn left his teacher, Finnegas, he set out for the court of the High King at Tara. The road was thronged with people, arriving to join in the great Samhain activities. Powerful warriors and chieftains were gathering at Tara for the annual celebrations. The great hall was full to overflowing and huge fires were crackling in all the grates. Servants were running to and fro, carrying enormous platters of roasted meat and game to feed all the visitors. Dogs were running around under all the tables, looking for scraps. The wine jugs were being filled and refilled, and loud laughter filled the air. When Fionn passed through the doors, silence fell, and you could have heard a pin drop. There was no seat for him, so he approached the king, watched by all the chieftains and warriors. "Who are you?" asked the king. "Who is this stranger who marches in here so boldly?" "I am Fionn, son of Cumhaill," replied the young man in a clear brown voice. "You are welcome here," said the king. "Your father was a great friend to me. How may I serve you, king?" asked Fionn. "Well," replied the king, "there is something you may be able to do for me." And he started to tell a strange story. Every Samhain for the past 9 years, Tara has been besieged by an evil spirit in the form of a fire-breathing dragon. When the dragon comes near, it plays sweet music, and all who hear it fall into a deep sleep. Many warriors have tried to slay it, but have died in the attempt. Our magicians have used spells to destroy the dragon, but they have all failed. If you can save Tara, I will grant you whatever you want. "I will slay the dragon for you, my king," bowed Fionn, and he strode out in the dark to wait for the beast. Suddenly he heard a soft voice saying, "Fionn, your father was a good friend to me. I have come to repay a favour your father did for me." Fionn looked around, but he could see no one. "You cannot see me," said the voice, "but look up, and you will see a spear." Fionn looked up, and just above his head was a beautiful silver spear. This illustration gives away some plot points. The dragon's face. against your forehead as soon as the music begins. The dragon's music will have no power over you. Finn waited for what seemed like a long time, and then he heard a single note being played on a pipe. A note of enchanting sweetness. All the people at Tara fell into a deep sleep, but Finn pressed the spear to his forehead, and the music stopped immediately. He saw the dragon standing before him, his breath on fire, and he hurled the magic spear straight between its eyes. The dragon fell to the ground. Finn took his sword and cut off its head with a single swing. He took the head, went back into the banquet, and presented his trophy to the king, bowing low. "You have saved us from the dragon," said the king. "What is your dearest wish?" "I ask to be leader of the Fionn, as my father was," said the hero. The king gladly granted his wish. All the other warriors submitted to him, and that is how Fionn Mac Cumhaill became the greatest leader the Fionn ever had. I think we've got one more story, Fionn Mac Cumhaill. Fionn Mac Cumhaill and the giant from Scotland. Finn was enjoying a comfortable life with his wife Una in his big castle beside the sea in County Antrim. It was a time of peace, so Finn was able to take a break from his life as a warrior with the Fionn. To pass the time, he decided to build a broad path across the sea from Antrim to Scotland. It was a very unusual path, made of hundreds of thousands of black rocks, all different sizes, none of them either square or round. Some of the rocks had 6 sides, some 8, and others more than 10. The warriors of the Fionn looked on in amazement as Finn worked hard at his task each day. Before long, this causeway stretched miles into the sea between the two coasts. One evening, just after he had returned home after a hard day's work, a stranger arrived, a messenger from Scotland, just across the sea. "I bring a challenge from the mighty Angus," the messenger told Finn. "He is the tallest, strongest, and most fearsome giant in all Scotland. He has beaten all the other giants in combat, but he has heard tales of your great strength, and he wants to fight you. Do you accept his challenge?" "Of course I accept," said Finn. "I will begin to prepare myself immediately." However, after the messenger left, Finn noticed that Una was looking very worried. "What's the matter?" he asked. "Oh, Finn," she replied, "I'm not sure that you should have accepted Angus's challenge. I've heard that he is much bigger than you, and is definitely stronger." Finn thought about this for a while. Then he said, "If I cannot beat him with my strength, I must think of a plan. I may not be as big or as strong as he is, fascinating at a time like this, bellowed Finn when he saw what she was doing. Look carefully, said Una. What do you see? Clothes, said Finn. You've been making clothes, baby clothes, but who on earth could they fit? They're absolutely enormous. Never mind that, said Una. Just put them on and be quick about it. We have no time to lose. Finn obediently dressed himself in the clothes she had made. What a sight he was! He wore a long dress, a pair of woolly booties, and a lovely knitted bonnet on his head. Now, get into that cradle. Finn looked around and saw an enormous wooden cradle. I asked Fergus to make the cradle while you were working. Now, in you get. Quickly, I can hear Angus coming. The ground shook with every step the Scottish giant took. When he arrived at the castle, he was met by Una. Where is the mighty Finn? He roared. I have come all the way from Scotland to find him. Is he afraid to meet me? Una welcomed him in. Not at all, she said. You're very welcome. Please come in. Finn is out hunting at the moment, but he won't be long. I've just got the baby to sleep, so I'd be grateful if you could speak a little more softly. Angus looked over at the cradle. That is your baby? He asked, shocked, for he had never seen such a large baby. Yes, this is our little one, said Una, glowing with maternal pride. We're very proud of him, even though he's rather small for his age, but we hope he'll grow up to be at least as big as his father. Angus was suddenly very frightened. If this is Finn's baby, what size can Finn be? He wondered. He must be absolutely huge. He rushed out of the castle and ran across the causeway back to Scotland. As he was running, he suddenly realised that Finn might be following him, so he turned around and began to remove the stones from the path behind him, so that by the time he arrived back in Scotland, there were just a few stones left, jutting out from the coast of Antrim into the sea. And to this day, that's all that remains of the Giant's Causeway. I think I'll stop there with 3 stories